You ever have one of those days when the universe just decides, hey, you look too happy, let's fix that? For me, that day rolled up in a beige envelope courtesy of Steve the mailman, who handed it over with the same expression people wear when they deliver subpoenas or tell you your dog's been hit by a car. Steve knew. Everybody in Rolling Hills knew. He delivered not just letters, but the daily dose of dread the HOA liked to serve up, wrapped in official seals and a font that screamed, "This is both important and unnecessary." He couldn't look me in the eye. "Certified, Dave. Sorry, gotta sign." That pen felt like I was signing my own execution. Beige envelope classy, and that way retired dentists think they're dressing up for a night out. And on the corner, those letters, A, the Rolling Hills Homeowners Association. Not even trying to hide. I didn't rip it open. Nah. I already knew what was inside. I walked back up the driveway, heat bubbling up through the soles of my sneakers, past the F-150 I wasn't allowed to park outside because commercial-looking vehicles offended someone's delicate suburban sensibilities. Around the side of the house, I needed to see it one last time before reading the verdict. My pond. My 3 months of cursing, sweating, and wrecking my lower back. The only thing I built that wasn't for a spreadsheet or a client or the soul-sucking lights of my office. This was supposed to be my little slice of peace, my church, my zen. I'd picked the stones myself, built the waterfall, engineered a filtration system so expensive I still kind of wince when I look at my bank account. Crystal clear water, custom waterfall, soothing sounds scientifically proven to lower cortisol, I'd read. Tuesday, that's when my 6 high-back koi were supposed to arrive straight from Oregon, waiting on me to hit send payment. You know, it's a shame someone grated from the sidewalk like nails on a chalkboard. My spine went stiff. Linda. You could smell the judgment coming off her in waves. The HOA president, think dictator, but with more power over whether your azaleas live or die. Floral blouse that made my eyes hurt, khaki capris visor, clipboard clutched like a scepter. She never went anywhere without that clipboard, probably slept hugging it at night. "Afternoon, Linda," I said, tight and polite. Squeezed that letter so hard I thought the ink would run. No insects, I told her before she could start. The water's moving mosquitoes can't lay eggs, basic biology. She stepped onto my grass, paused, glanced down, smirked. "Your St. Augustine looks a little parched." Adhering to the watering schedule. "When the law allows, Linda." "What's this?" I waved the letter. "Notification of violation," she chirped, talon finger pointing. Article 4, Section B, Paragraph 9. No permanent standing water over 10 gallons visible from the street without a unanimous vote. She knew the bylaws by heart. And if she didn't, she made up her own. "It's not visible from the street," I protested, getting between her and my pride and joy. "You gotta walk halfway up my driveway to see it. I can see it from the sidewalk if I stand on my toes. Gary can see it from his upstairs window. Gary's legally blind, Linda. The only thing distracting him is his own reflection." No smile. Humor had been surgically removed from Linda years ago. "The board met last night," she said, flicking through her nails. "Emergency interpretation. Your pond is now an unauthorized hazard pool. 7 days to fill it in resod and return to original grade. $500 if I don't, I choked. A day." She corrected, eyes glinting. "Retroactive to the start of construction. 12 weeks. Do the math, David. You're an accountant. $40,000 for a koi pond. We want compliance," Linda intoned. "Aesthetic cohesion. Not swamps." I lost it a little right there. "It's not a swamp. It's an ecosystem. It adds value. It attracts vermin." She spun away, flip-flops snapping. The ticking of doom. Inside silence and the stale taste of fear. Sarah, my wife, was at work. Just me, my beer, and my pond-shaped problem. I'm not a rebel. Never been a rule breaker. Pay my taxes, drive the speed limit, return the cart. But this wasn't about rules. It was about Linda needing to matter, needing to be the sun everything orbited. I spent the next 6 hours with the HOA's covenants, conditions, and restrictions file, all 240 pages of mind-numbing legalese. There it was, hazard structure defined at the board's discretion. They could declare my mailbox a threat if they wanted. I needed a drink stronger than beer, but what I really needed was an idea. I drove to Fin and Feather, a bait shop with a smell of earth and secrets, where rivers who looked carved out of driftwood manned the counter. "You look like hell." Rivers grunted. HOA. I sighed. Ponds on the chopping block. Hazard pool. He knew about my liner, told me I could drive a tank over it. Waste of good rubber, he said. We talked loopholes, and Rivers, bless his wild soul, said they can't ban federal law. What Endangered Species Act trumps local anything? Had a buddy lost a whole valley to a salamander. My brain started whirring. If I had a protected species in the pond, nobody, not Linda, not the HOA, not the governor, could touch it. You need amphibians. Rivers grinned, missing a tooth, flipping open a binder. Frogs. The right ones with the right paperwork. But you got to turn that pond into a swamp first. Frogs don't like your filtered water. They want muck-rot gloom. That night I made the call. Vinny, I need you at dawn. Emergency landscaping. Bring mud. Vinny's not what you'd call a regular contractor. He works when he feels like it and hates Linda as much as I do. Next morning, Vinny's van rolled up, backfiring like it was firing warning shots. We're killing it, he asked, surveying my masterpiece. We're repurposing, I replied. We tarped the yard, ripped out my precious filtration system, dumped in stinking river mud, planted dying cattails, and made the prettiest swamp New Jersey's ever seen. By noon, my backyard looked like ground zero for West Nile. It's hideous, I said, wiping sweat. Masterpiece. Vinny beamed. Linda's gonna lose it. FedEx dropped the frogs the next day, beefy green with paperwork, California red-legged frog complex. I whispered to the general, yeah, I named them. Do your worst, boys. Release them into the soup. Waited. Prayed. Saturday. Linda came barking. Deadline's tomorrow, David. You better have filled it in. I took care of it. I called back. You won't need a cement mixer. She threatened. I smiled. The frogs are settling in nicely. Sunday, 7 a.m. The frogs erupted deep, throaty bellows that rattled the windows. I couldn't help it. I laughed, just imagining Linda waking up to that soundtrack. 8:55. Linda marched over with her cronies. Time for the inspection. I invited them through, calm as you please. They stopped cold at the patio. Swamp. Mud. Frogs. A sound like a foghorn blasting through a tuba. What is this? Linda gasped, staring at the general, who stared back, looking smugger than a frog has a right to. That's a federally protected species, I said. You so much as poke him, you're looking at a felony. Gary, clipboard shaking, read the fine print. Linda shrieked. She threatened to call the cops to have me arrested for livestock farming. I shrugged. I'm not milking them, Linda. Officer Miller showed up, good guy, tired guy. Linda demanded justice. Miller took one look and said, Dave, last time I was here, this was a pond, right? Now it's a habitat. Linda wanted blood. Miller listened, read my paperwork, looked at me. He knew I was bluffing, but he also knew Linda. And honestly, he looked ready for any excuse to get out of HOA drama. You want this resolved, he said to Linda. Call Fish and Wildlife. Until then, this stays. Linda was undeterred. Next came the lawsuit, emergency injunction, biohazard, the works. I called Rivers. Time to call the feds, he said. So I did. Told them I'd discovered a rare species in danger of bulldozing. Agent Garcia, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, didn't mess around. Within an hour, she was on my lawn vest badge. Sunglasses looked more SWAT than scientist. When she saw the frog, she didn't even blink. Highly unusual for this species to migrate here, but not impossible, she declared loud enough for Linda to hear over the fence. They taped off my backyard, posted federal warnings. I was now custodian of a federal habitat. Linda's jaw about hit the ground. But Linda, if anything, gets more dangerous when cornered. She sent in lawyers, measured my fence, looked for every violation. Too tall, too short, wrong grass. I got creative. Section 12 of the bylaws, educational events allowed. Posted an invite to a neighborhood Miracle Frogs event on Facebook, scheduled to start exactly when the HOA's next inspection did. Half the third grade and a reporter showed up, popsicles for everyone. Linda and her lawyer tried to measure the fence and got swarmed by a sea of tiny conservationists. They retreated, cameras rolling. Then I found the grant. Turns out the government will pay you to take care of a swamp. 12 grand for an observation deck. Vinny built it taller than any HOA fence with a searchlight for scientific observation. At dusk, I sat up there, beer in hand, and when Linda stormed out, blinded by the light, I hollered down, "Science never sleeps, Linda." She snapped, "I should have seen it coming." 2 a.m. I hear a sump pump running. Look out the window. Linda, tracksuit, ski mask, draining the swamp bleach bottle ready. I bolted outside, robe flapping, flashlight blazing. Linda, step away from the habitat. She screamed, brandishing the cord. I dove, tackled her in the mud. Cops and feds showed up, the whole 9 yards. Agent Garcia arrested Linda on the spot. Violation of the Endangered Species Act, trespassing, attempted ecocide. The HOA president handcuffed, covered in muck. The general croaked like a judge slamming a gavel. Linda was banned from any HOA, forever fined, forced to move. The neighborhood breathed easier. Rules softened. Gnomes got their heads back. Doors were painted colors that aren't approved beige. The frogs, fat and happy, serenading the sunset every night. Now when I sit up on that deck, neighbors wave. The kids come to feed the frogs. A new family moved into Linda's house, full of hope, and bless them, no clipboards. When they ask about the swamp, I just smile. That I tell them, that's the sound of freedom. So tell me, where do you draw the line between rules and revenge? When does standing up for yourself become going too far? I want to hear your stories. If you've ever tangled with a little tyrant or fought back when the odds were stacked, share it. Let's see whose pond is bigger.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.